everyone. I am not familiar with the method that Robert has just used, although there is people that would say I'm familiar with the concept of chit-chat. I'm Marie Ward, the South Eastern Group Chief Building Control Officer, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the Western Group for the opportunity to come here today to give my view on the topic of building control, a new paradigm. Where we are now within local government reform presents an opportunity for a new delivery model or a new paradigm. And I actually disagree with what Robert has just said. His view on building regulations being the only way, I don't believe that is what we should be doing. I can understand why he takes that view, but I think to survive, we need to diversify. I joined building control just over 2.5 years ago and have asked many different people, and indeed during the SRI process, remember sitting in the Loughney Discovery Centre and saying, what does building control mean? Is it building regulation enforcement, or is it more? It's time now to examine what building control will be post-2015, and this, I believe, presents fantastic opportunities. It's important to look at the service holistically, and I'm going to make suggestions on two fronts, first being staffing and the second being what staff deliver. As the first female Group Chief Building Control Officer to be appointed into the post since it came into existence in 1973, I'm going to take the opportunity today, as a woman standing on this stage, to fly the flag for women. I've looked across building control in Northern Ireland and have established that 8.5% of technical staff are women. Of that 8.5%, 50% are in senior positions. That says something. I'm not going to keep going on about statistics, but what I'll ask you to do is look around the room now. Take a minute and just look around the room. I think I've made my point. The audience in the room today is a strong indication that there is gender inequality in building control. I don't believe that this is through a choice to exclude women, but I do believe that in the future it is important to address that balance. And I'm not saying women are the all-seeing, all-knowing, but for any ecosystem to survive, there has to be diversification. As Hillary Clinton famously said, women are the world's most underused resource, and this is very evident in building control. So enough about flying the flag for women, and I move on now to look at what we actually do. Building control surveyors are generally degree qualified in construction-related disciplines, and a study of the building control departments across Northern Ireland has shown that building regulations are only a small part of what building control delivers, and indeed Robert has referred to that in his presentation. The service is wide and varied, and a matrix completed by building control departments this year has shown that across Northern Ireland, building control departments are delivering a range of 26 services, from building regulations to fire risk assessments, project management, postal naming and numbering, and that's to just name a few of those. Other speakers today have highlighted the importance of building regulations, and they are an essential part of the construction process. I think that I'm right to assume that everybody in the room agrees with that. But if we take a minute to reflect on the impact of the recession on building control departments across Northern Ireland, and Robert referred to the reduction in staffing numbers over the last 10 years. And I use Down District Council's building control department as an example because that's where I'm placed. The surveyor numbers in Down have went from 2 seniors and 6 surveyors to 1 senior and 4 surveyors. This isn't an isolated case. Building control departments have been diminishing over the last 10 years. Indeed, the battle has been to hold on to the posts. Building control has diversified in recent years, but I don't believe that that should be a reaction to a crisis, but an informed and planned business decision to deliver services which are of benefit to the council and the ratepayers. The recession, despite what it feels like, won't last forever, and indeed there are probably some positive indications that we're starting to emerge from it. But will our building control departments be ready for the increase in applications? Will they be adequately resourced? And will they have sufficient knowledge and skills? As we move forward into the future, the opportunity for change is ripe, and I believe that the role of the building control surveyor needs to evolve and to do so rapidly. As has been demonstrated, the building control surveyor has a skill set that can be utilised in many areas in council. Widening the remit of building control surveyors will protect the profession in the future and will ensure that building regulations can be enforced effectively. I would propose that the building control surveyor's job title changes to something simple like building surveyor, and should be widened to include delivery of things that I would term estates functions, condition surveys, fire risk assessment, project management, and that's to name just a few. The Building Control Department should be rebranded to recognise, for example, the work done with LPS, which has a positive impact on the penny product for all of our councils. Ashley Borland made reference to the SRI process, and this recognised the delivery of the diversity of professions that exist in building control. There are architects, structural, civil and mechanical engineers, valuers, lawyers, and that's to name just but a few of the various professions that exist within building control today. The conclusion of the SRI process was that you would achieve the greatest efficiencies as well as delivering a better service through a one-stop shop which would promote and facilitate development in our districts. This would remove the invisible barriers that are seen as hindering development. The SRI process named this the Built Environment Department. The Built Environment Department should incorporate planning, building control, estates, all those services relevant to construction, and services which promote economic development in our districts. This would create diversification, and an example of that would be if you have a staff member who currently sits within an estates department, they could be utilised in a building control department, in the building control section, to assess plans or deal with major structural problems. Those different range of professions exist across those departments at present. I suppose what I'm really suggesting is that we stop even that silo mentality and that we create what comes out of SRI, the Built Environment Department. The reform of local government would create added pressures and challenges for councils, including bigger estates, larger districts, tighter budgets, and that really is just naming a few, and I'm sure there's plenty of people in the room today could tell me more things that will be affecting us when we move forward into the reform of local government. I believe that there needs to be a mind change across Northern Ireland among surveyors to ensure that building control departments remain sustainable into the future and that they are integral to council. Building control for me as a new model would reflect a diverse staffing structure and a building surveyor job as detailed above. I don't propose that all the additional works could be done with the existing surveyors, but I do believe that an effective business case could be prepared, which will demonstrate long-term savings for councils because it would reduce the need for external consultants, and that chief executives and councils can then make an informed decision on the need for a new structure. From a building control perspective, this will protect the service in the future and reduce the risks imposed by RPA and indeed the risks that we've faced with a recession. So as local government reform becomes a reality, can I use Sheryl Sandberg's words to finish? If you are offered a seat on a rocket ship, don't ask what seat, just get on. And as somebody asked me, where's the rocket going? It can only be going to the stars. So I offer that challenge to everyone in building control. Diversify, protect yourself and protect our departments. Thank you.